Party's over. Not good. No sweat. We got your back. Let's do this. Bring it on. What's up now?
So I played Skylanders in 2023. Yeah, that's right. The Skylanders. Bet you didn't expect that. That's probably exactly what you expected, considering the title of the video, but... Anyways, yeah, I played Skylanders, and now I'm no stranger to Skylanders, but, I never played Skylanders Giants all the way through, which is a whole story for another day, but since I never beat Giants, that's the game I decided to play today. That, and I also kinda made a video about the first one, even though it's really old and the script is even older. You should still watch it, though. I'm not saying you shouldn't watch it. Go ahead, be my guest. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Ha! You thought I was gonna let you watch the video without first begging you to subscribe to me? Yeah, I wish I could too. But in all seriousness, it would really mean the world to me if you would leave a like if you like the video. It just makes sense. Or if you didn't and you just want to be nice, you can still leave me a like. And if you would hit that subscribe button, it also helped me out a ton. I'm trying to reach 2,000 subscribers, and I can't do that without y'all's help. Okay, now that I've held you hostage here long enough, let's get on to the video. So if you haven't played Skylanders in a while, or if you've just never played Skylanders, I'll give you a quick rundown of what it's all about. So Skylanders is a game series created originally by Toys for Bob, which, I mean, later on Vicarious Visions worked on it, but that's a different story for a different day. And in this series, it sees the Skylanders, which are the protectors of Skylands, and they defend Skylands from all the darkness along with the other forces. The main antagonist is always a little dude named Chaos, except for in one game, even though he's still kind of the main antagonist, but that's also a story for another day. And the gameplay sees you playing as these Skylanders, solving puzzles, and using your Skylanders' unique abilities to defeat enemies. And I figured that'll help you enough to understand the basics of the game. And so now that I've explained it, let's get into this game. But, yep, that's right, there's another but, and no, not that one, that was a really bad joke. Anyway, but before any levels actually start, we of course have the opening, which sees Chaos, who's the series' main villain as I just talked about, escaping from Earth, or more specifically a toy store, where he was sent to after the first game, through a portal, the Portal of Power, which is the same portals that we use to go into the game world. And then, all of a sudden, we're peering into the past, and seeing the titular Giants of the game. I know, plot twist! And it's explained that the Giants went missing years ago, and we're looking into the past to understand why they went missing. Which, I should also say that the Giants are pretty much just big Skylanders. They're more powerful, they have more health, and they can murder Chompies, which, you know, they're the Goomba equivalent of the Skylanders universe, just by stepping on them. And the coolest thing that they can do are the feats of strength, which are quick-time events that only Giants can do, and it sees them moving an island or something like that would take a lot of strength and a normal Skylander just wouldn't be able to do. They're pretty cool to look at, but mechanically, they're pretty basic. They're just normal Skylanders, but bigger. That's really it. But anyways, after we see into the past, we immediately get thrown into the first level, which I gotta say, it's pretty cool. It takes what could have just been a long exposition dump, and it's turned it into an introductory level taking place in the past. And as far as tutorial levels go, it's a pretty good one. It's fun enough, it teaches you the basics of the games, and it's a pretty lengthy, but usually Skylander levels are, so I'm not too surprised, and in terms of Skylander levels, it's a pretty short one, I'll be honest. And at the end of the level, there's a boss fight that I really enjoy. It's really simplistic and easy, and you don't really actually fight the boss, but it fits the level to me. But the real meat of this level is in the cutscene after. The cutscene shows what really happened to the Giants. They were in a war against the Archaeans, and their main goal was to detach the Fist of Arcus from their king. Kind of like the parts in both Infinity War and Endgame. Bit of a weird thing there. Skylanders did it first. It was probably done in the comics before Skylanders, but I like to think that the Skylanders did it first, because I love Skylanders. Except in Skylanders, instead of like in Avengers, they actually got the fist detached. And once it was detached, the whole army of Archaeans shut down because the fist was the thing controlling them. But for some unknown reason, the fist magically swept all the Giants away for however long until we found them. And with that, we finish the game. Okay, that was a bad joke. You know, I'm just full of bad jokes today. You're gonna have to get used to that.
Does Jillahan like you?
He said 50-50.
Oh, that means you gotta work on that other 50%.
We actually get sent to the present, seeing Flynn, Callie, and Hugo, with Hugo telling Callie and Flynn that something bad is coming, so Callie and Flynn have to set off. But they need to grab a few spare parts for Flynn's ship because it's kind of falling apart at the seams. And that's where we come to level 2, Junkyard Isles. This level gets you a bit more acquainted with the combat, as well as having the first feat of strength. It's also revealed in this level that Flynn's ship has been run solely on raccoon power up until this point. But other than that, nothing too interesting happens in this level. And after we gather all the parts we need, we head on to the next level, Rumbletown. This level doesn't do very much, but it does have the first real boss fight. I know I mentioned the boss fight in level 1 being good and how much I liked it and everything, but it was a very scripted fight and it was almost impossible to lose. I think it might have been impossible to lose. I'm not sure. I didn't try to die on it. I'm sorry, I know I really failed you there. But it was really difficult to lose is what I'm trying to say, okay? And so this is a true boss fight with Skylanders' most iconic villain, Brock. Okay, he's not the most recognizable character, but here he is. And after defeating Brock, you get to meet the Hermit, the guy who we actually came here to see in the first place. I didn't mention him before, but yeah, we came to Rumbletown to meet the Hermit, because he saw something, and that's it. But his whole personality is being scared of clouds. But other than that, he tells us that he saw chaos fall from the sky, and once chaos landed, the energy he gained from going through the portal awakens an Archaean robot, who immediately takes his side. I'm not saying the plot of this game is bad, I am just saying that the plot of this game is definitely the plot of this game. They could have made it all work seamlessly, and they really don't. I'm just being a little harsh. At least it's fun. It's entertaining. The plot is interesting, I'll give it that. And with that, we set off to beat Chaos to the Fist of Arcus to stop him from controlling all of the Archaeans and taking over all of Skylands. It's a classic Skylanders plot, but of course there's bumps along the road, or I guess bumps along the sky. But the plot is pretty simple, although I think it works perfectly for a game like this, and the gameplay pretty much stays the same, being pretty simple too, with a few things added here and there, like for example the addition of Skystones. On its own, Skystones is a really simple game, but it really became a part of the game series' DNA, coming back in multiple games with various remixes. And while it is a really simple game, it's a fun little addition that they didn't have to add, but they chose to add just for fun. Other than that, there aren't too many big gameplay additions other than new enemies and level gimmicks. So for the most part, they were keeping it pretty basic, which since this was and still is intended to be a kid's game, I can't really fault it because I know if I were a kid, I'd get confused if there was too many things going on. Although that could have just been a me problem because I would also skip all the dialogue in games and then get upset because I didn't know what to do. Although I will admit sometimes I do get a bit bored playing because there's not too much going on gameplay wise, and while that can get a bit annoying, at least the game isn't too long. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I think that out of all the Toys to Life games, Skylanders has the best looking characters. I think it's especially impressive since almost all of their characters are completely original, which none of the other big Toys to Life franchises can say. But anyways, for this game, the obvious main appeal were the Giants. And there was one for each element, making 8 total, and aesthetically speaking, they're amazing looking. Each fits their element perfectly, and they all feel like giants when both holding them in real life and playing them in the game. It doesn't seem like that hard of a thing to accomplish, but I figured it was worth mentioning anyways. One new addition that was included on the Giants, which was marketed as a new innovative feature, were the light cores, which was a feature where when putting down a character onto the portal, a part of them would light up. And it was, and still is, at least to me, a really cool feature. But Giants weren't the only figures with light cores. Core Skylanders, which were other all-new Skylanders, would sometimes have them too. And while we're on the subject, why not talk about these new core figures? So Skylanders Giants is actually the Skylanders game with the least amount of core Skylanders, and that's because of instead of making a lot of new characters, Toys for Bob decided to make, once again, just one new character for each element, and bring new and updated versions of a large majority of the first game's character roster back. It's a decision that I don't like, but I do understand it. Really, I'm sure it just boiled down to Toys for Bob only having a year to make this game, compared to the 2 or more years that they had for every other game in the franchise. So at least they gave us the illusion of new characters by bringing these old characters back. But it really doesn't matter. I'm just a guy on the internet nitpicking details about a children's game that's over a decade old. But with that being said, I think it's time to move on from the characters. Skylanders Giants is a good game. I'm not going to say it's amazing, but I'm not going to say it's bad either. I can understand why Skylanders had us in such a chokehold when we were younger. And for some of us, it still does. Skylanders is not my favorite Skylanders game. I don't think it's even in my top 3 Skylanders games, which may contradict my ranking, but that ranking is old and it shouldn't be trusted anyways. But considering that this game was made in such a short time, it is impressive that it came out as complete as it did. And it is a decently fun game, as well as feeling like a Skylanders game, which, when you're making a Skylanders game, I'd say it's pretty important to make it feel like a Skylanders game. And with that, I think I've said all that you need to say about Skylanders Giants. Now, would I recommend it? I think if you played it when you were younger and you still have the game and all the figures, then sure. But if not, I don't know. Because figure collecting is a slippery slope, and I don't know if you want to fall down that rabbit hole. But hey, if you want to support my figure collecting addiction, I mean, if you like the video and want to support my channel, then why don't you leave a like and subscribe? I really appreciate it. As always, I'm Made with Love XO, and I'll see you in the next one.